Why do some people explode in anger, while others stay completely calm in the exact same situation? Why do some chase adventure, while others crave routine? The answer isn't random. It's your personality. And today, we're going to break down exactly what shapes it. But here's the part nobody warns you about. The same science that explains your personality also reveals how little of it you actually chose. How much of you, the real you, was handed to you before you ever had a say. And once you see that, you can't really unsee it. In 1984, two psychologists, Duane and Sidney Schultz, began cataloging something that had haunted the field for over a century. Not a disorder, not a symptom, just a question. What makes a person a person? Their book, Theories of Personality, doesn't give you one answer. It gives you dozens. Each one proposed by a different thinker. Each one claiming to explain the invisible architecture beneath human behavior. Freud said it was buried in your childhood. Jung said it was inherited from something far older than your parents. Skinner said there was no self at all, just responses to stimuli. They can't all be right. But here's the disturbing part. They might all be partially right, which means none of them fully explains you. And that gap, that space where no theory quite reaches, that's where this video lives. Freud believed that personality isn't built gradually across a lifetime. It's largely fixed in the first 6 years. The anxious adult, the controlling one, the one who can't stop chasing approval. Freud would say, go back far enough and you'll find the moment that created them. The Schultz textbook calls these psychosexual stages, oral, anal, phallic, clinical-sounding names for something deeply human. Moments of need, of shame, of a child learning what is safe and what is dangerous to feel. And if those moments go wrong, if the need isn't met, or the shame comes too soon, the psyche doesn't discard the experience. It buries it. And a buried thing doesn't disappear. It just starts operating from underground, shaping your reactions, your fears, the specific ways you self-sabotage. Now, you might be thinking, that sounds outdated. That's Freud. We've moved past that. Have we, though? Because every modern therapy, CBT, attachment theory, trauma-informed care, still begins with one assumption, that something in your past is running your present. Freud named the house. We just repainted it. But here's what Freud couldn't tell you. If the wound is buried deep enough, you won't even know it's there. You'll just call it your personality. Carl Jung broke with Freud over something specific. He thought Freud was too focused on the individual, too personal, too clinical. Jung believed the psyche held something older. He called it the collective unconscious. The idea that deep beneath your personal history, beneath your childhood, your memories, your wounds, there are patterns, archetypes, the hero, the shadow, the anima, the wise old man. Structures that are not yours specifically. They belong to the species. and they shape how you perceive threat, how you fall in love, what you fear in the dark. The Schultz text explains that for Jung, personality isn't just a product of your biography. It's a product of humanity's entire accumulated experience, passed down not through memory, but through structure. Think about that for a moment. The reason certain stories move you, the reason certain faces feel familiar before you've met them, the reason some dreams feel ancient. Jung would say, you didn't create those responses. You inherited them. Which means part of your personality is pre-installed. Not written by you. Not even written for you. Written for a version of humanity that no longer exists. And yet, here you are, still running that ancient code. Still reacting to shadows on the wall. Still flinching at the dark. B.F. Skinner never believed in the unconscious. He didn't believe in archetypes either. In fact, Skinner barely believed in personality at all, not as something internal, not as something you possess. For Skinner, behavior is the product of reinforcement. You do what gets rewarded. You avoid what brings pain. There is no buried self, no inherited pattern, no inner life calling the shots. Just stimulus, response, consequence. The Schultz textbook presents this as radical behaviorism. And it is radical. Because if Skinner is right, even partially right, then the personality you call yours is just a pattern of learned responses. You are confident because confidence was rewarded. You are anxious because anxiety was once useful. You are kind or cold or competitive, not because of who you are, but because of what worked. Now, most psychologists today don't follow Skinner this far. But the modern research on habit formation, on automatic behavior, on how little of our daily action is consciously chosen, it rhymes loudly. Abraham Maslow stood at the opposite end. He believed in a self that was authentic, striving, capable of genuine growth. He called the summit of that growth self-actualization, the fully realized person. And here's what makes that idea so quietly devastating. Maslow estimated that less than 1% of people ever get there. 1%. Which means the rest of us are spending our lives somewhere on the pyramid, meeting needs, seeking safety, seeking belonging, seeking esteem, never quite arriving at the version of ourselves we sense is possible. And maybe that's the most unsettling thing this book quietly suggests. Not that you were broken early, not that you're running ancient code, but that the fully realized you, the authentic one, might be something you'll spend your entire life approaching and never reach. So where does that leave us? Freud says, look backward. Jung says, look deeper. Skinner says, stop looking inward entirely. Maslow says, keep climbing. And somehow, all four of them are describing the same person. You. Here's the question I'll leave you with. If your personality was shaped by things that happened before you could understand them, inherited from people you never met, reinforced by a world that didn't ask your permission, then when you say, this is just who I am, What exactly are you referring to? Next time, we go deeper into one specific theorist, Alfred Adler, and the idea that every personality is built around a single core wound. A wound you've been compensating for your entire life, without knowing it. If that unsettles you, good. That's where the real work starts.
If something in this video stayed with you, if you're still thinking about it, that's not an accident. This channel exists for exactly that feeling. If you found it worth your time, a like helps more people find it. And if you want to keep going down this particular rabbit hole, subscribe. We don't post often, but when we do, it's worth the wait. Share this with someone who thinks they know exactly who they are. They might find that interesting. The link to the next video is below. You'll want to watch it.